Whoa, what's up, study squad? Welcome to the first ever episode of Hoopz Case Studies. On this channel, we study and analyze hoop cases at all levels, meaning NBA, WNBA, college, high school, All-American, and even street ball. Point is, we gather around this time to discuss these many cases by researching the nets. Today, we have a cool little episode lined up for you as we discuss the highly anticipated NBA lottery picks for the 2023 draft. We'll be unveiling some of the soon-to-be stars and some of the head-scratching, questionable picks, But let's make sense of these picks of the next generation. I'm your host, and I go by Jay Chili. So without further ado, let's get it. So I think this lottery was a really good lottery. These first 14 picks, I have a strong indication that majority of these picks will have solid careers. I think at least 10 of these picks going to have at least 7 years in the league, And in my opinion, I think you have like at least 4 quasi all-stars to all-stars, like at the bottom, like quasi all-stars. And on a top heavy, it's very top heavy when there's an emphasis on bona fide generational talent, headlining a draft alongside an athletic specimen phenom point guard and a 3-level smooth 6'9" wing, that can score at all levels. That's a really good draft. I think the top 3 could easily go one on many other drafts, and that's special. This draft was so unique. A pair of athletic prototypical twins was selected. Like, my gosh. I think this draft going to be one for the ages. So let's quickly go over the first 14 picks. So we got coming in at number 1, the San Antonio Squirts, Victor Wemby. Number 2, Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Millie. Number 3, Portland Trailblazers, Scoot Hendy. Number 4, Houston Rockets, Ahmed Thompson. Number 5, Detroit Pistons, Ausar Thompson. Number 6, Orlando Magic, Anthony Black. Number 7, Indiana Pacers, Bilal Coulibaly, traded to the Wizards. Number 8, the washed-up Wizards, Jarris Walker, traded to the Pacers. Number 9, Ain't No Jazz in Utah, Taylor Hendricks. Number 10, Dallas Mavericks, Cason Wallace, traded to the Thunder. Number 11, Orlando Magic, Jet Hitter Howard. Number 12, OK, I See Ya Thunder, Derek Lively, traded to the Mavs. Number 13, Toronto Raptors, Grady. And number 14, New Orleans Pelicans, Jordan Hawkeye Hawkins. And that right there, that's your NBA 2023 lottery. So let's get into the highest intriguing picks. The picks I think will be stars in this league, of course. Like I said, the number 1 San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama. We have another, prospect with infinite ceiling, He entering the league 7'5" with a to-be continued wingspan, can get a bucket from all over the floor, agile as a gazelle, and handle the rock like a guard. He do have a slighter frame, but in time he gonna bulk up. He may have a little trouble adjusting to the physicality in the league. The first couple years. They usually, you playing with men out there, you gonna get some bumps, you gonna get some elbows, out there. You try and drive in, you gonna get chopped off. Uh, but yeah, he gonna have to adjust to that. So he definitely gonna, hopefully he stay healthy, but he may get a little neck pains because he's such a slighter frame. But he definitely a generational prospect. But I won't say like the media, best prospect since LeBron. That statement is ran down. We hear it every other year for a number one draft pick. And they do that just to cause controversy to draft up, for the draft, they cause a little drama. It's a little soap opera to the draft. But he's the best prospect since Zion Williamson. And definitely has the potential to be a top 3 player in the NBA and have a Hall of Fame career, of course. He has the potential, but let's just see how his career gonna progress. But of course, Victor Wembanyama. And number 2, Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets, 6'9" wing with a 7-foot wingspan, tight handle, and could also be a 3-level scorer. He got a versatile position on the court, playing 2 to 4, effortless one motion jumper. You could just tell he looked up to Paul George. There's similarities in the body frame and a silky smooth style of scoring from the wing spot, but I don't see the creativity of Paul George with the handles. I think at like Brandon Miller's floor, like after his rookie year, after he takes his lumps in his rookie year, I think at the least, Brandon Miller will be at 18 points per game, 7 rebounds, at least. Because he has the size, he has the shooting ability, he has the confidence. That's like after he takes his lumps after his rookie year, I don't see him being no less than, 18 point per game score, which is really good. That's a really good NBA player. At the least, I think he's going to be a quasi all-star at the least, his floor. And in number 9, we have there's no Jazz in Utah with Taylor Hendricks. Now some of y'all may be surprised by this pick. But I think he's going to be a star in this league, 6'9", 214 pounds, and a 7-foot wingspan. His body and play style remind me of a shade of Jaren Jackson, 3-level scorer, aggressive around the rim. He could score in the mid-range, got a nice midi. Don't have the best handle, He don't have the best handle. You don't want him dribbling the ball like more than 2 or 3 times at this moment. But I think his fit in Utah is an intriguing one, especially with a front court of Lowry and Kessler. I know John Collins going to start off, he probably most likely going to start off in the league because he got more experience, and they're going to slowly develop Taylor Hendricks. But I think Hendricks definitely going to be, in the long run plan. Utah is building something slowly but surely. And I think Hendricks was he will have a great opportunity to show his game. It really complements, that fit with Lowry. Like I said, I think that fit was a really good, really savvy pick by Utah. So good for them, in their future. And disclaimer, I will talk about Scoot Henderson later. We're going to get to him later. So let's discuss the best fits in this draft. These players may not be stars, but they have a chance to contribute early and often, especially in their rookie contract. Number 5, Detroit Pistons, Ausar Thompson, bouncy, lightning fast, electric fast, and could score at 3 levels. Detroit needed a replacement at wing after, they got rid of Sadiq Bey, who I think is really good. But boy, did they get it. I see him fit nicely next to Ivy and Cunningham. Won't have to create. Those guys going to do most of the creating. So he could focus on being a set shooter, being a 3-and-D. which is what he did, next to Amon, all those years he played next to Amon. Amon was more the ball handler. And Osar was like the slasher, the second creator, 3 and D. So he fits in smoothly at the 3. And that gives him a different dynamic, he's athletic, man. Like, he's crazy athletic. So, I really like that pick for Detroit Pistons. So number 12, we got Dallas Mavericks, Derek Lively Jr., rim protector, rim runner, rim destroyer, ridiculous wingspan, and reminds me heavily of Tyson Chandler. His play style will complement Luka like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like Luka gonna have easy alley-oops as he drive in, and he's a big that don't need the ball in his hand. All you have to do is catch alleys from Luka, and Luka, of course, draws attention. And of course, be that that rim protector. So this was a really good pick for fit for the Mavericks. Lastly, we have the number 14 pick, the New Orleans Pelicans, Jordan Hawkeye Hawkins. Disclaimer, you could tell by my enthusiasm, so I'll just say I'm a New Orleans Pelicans fan, so they're going to be discussed often on this channel. Anywho, Jordan Hawkins, the elusive shooter, my guy runs routes like a receiver on the court. He just pops open for a 3, just knock it down with the quickness. Some say, they see Clay. I see it too. And of course, the shades of, fellow UConn guards, Ray Allen and Rip Hamilton. Rip Hamilton was more midi. Ray Allen was more the 3. But definitely, of course, guys that just, they on a run, set a couple screens, double screens, they running through walls. You get a good screen up out there, like these guys can create open looks and just make it unfair, to chase them down. So, yeah, he's competitive, he high effort, and I think he's going to fit like a glove next to Zion and B.I. So, this is a good pick. So let's get into what I believe are the most questionable picks of the draft. Doesn't mean I think these were bad picks, but I think these picks bring up a question or two, or 3. First up, number 3, Portland Trailblazer Scoop. There it is. First off, this is probably the most questionable pick. Like, I do believe Scoop would be a stud, but this raises the question, like, is this a time for a new era in Portland? Is this the crossroads for Dame time era? Dame is loyal, and me personally, I would like to see him, stay in a small market, figure it out. Me Pelicans fan, I like to see small markets win. So, I know how important, he is to Portland. But, they tried the 2-guard experiment before with CJ. And, they already acknowledged that, that it didn't work, and we all know that has its limitations in the NBA, Yeah, they may cook up a couple points, but, who they going to stop, especially when they go size on you, So, but Portland had to make this pick, even though I think, they really wanted Brandon Miller, he would have been a better fit, if they could have justified him, with Dame, but it's gonna be interesting to see where they go. Number 6, Orlando Magic, Anthony Black. Now Black is he a tall point guard, see like shade of like a little Lonzo, connector, and I think he'll fare well when he flank, with scorers next to him, when he have like a lot of weapons next to him. But the thing is, Magic has a lot of redundancy at the guard position, with Fultz, Suggs, and Cole Anthony. Maybe they're, this is their, they feel like this is their guy, I do think Black would be, I think he'll be at best like a decent role player, So I don't think he was the number 6 best prospect in this draft, I really don't think he was. I think it was a bit of a reach. But if they felt like this was their guy, then, then that's their guy, I do think if Cam Whitmore would have been picked at this spot if he didn't have those medical reports, with his knee and, some poor workouts, I think this would definitely have been Cam Whitmore's spot. But, if they feel like that's their guy, then that's their guy. But number 10, OKC Thunder, Cason Wallace. I really like Cason Wallace. Reminds me of a baby Drew. 6'4" strong frame. He'll terror on defense for any matchup. My man is just a menace on D. I actually like this pick for OKC. He can complement Shea, as that 1-2. Shea could play a 2. Or he could play some, 2. Shea play a 1. And Giddey, I can see him as a 6-man, for OKC. But even though this is not like a crazy question, but what happened to Lou Dort? Maybe OKC wanted to go. I thought this was interesting. Maybe OKC wanted to go. They feel like they could have replaced Lou Dort with a rookie contract. His skill set with Cason Wallace. So and it's just redundancy there. So it's interesting to see Presti, operate. I think he's one of the smartest GMs in the NBA. So it's very important to pay like very close attention to Presti when he makes a move. So yeah. So in conclusion, I like this draft. I think a lot of teams, they plug, some holes on their team, for their team. Jarris Walker, for the Pacers, could be a switchable big for them. Whoever they have at center, he a versatile defender, that he could switch from that 4 to 5, that unique position, and also guard, I believe, 2s, 1s, 5s. I think he could guard 1 through 5. So, I think that's a good value pick. And I can't wait to see Ahmed Thompson and Jalen Green backcourt look like. Rockets building that identity of drafting athleticism that's ready to take off. Them boys getting bouncy in Houston. Jet Hitter Howard to the Magic. In my opinion, that was a really good pick. I like that pick. I like Jet Howard. I think the Magic are conjuring an identity of incorporating plus size length at every position. And Jet Howard provides another shooter, for that team. He gonna fit next to Paolo when he draws in, the defense, when he driving in. Jet Howard can, he could play that 2 spot. And, and also, the same guy, John Hammond, that drafted Giannis, he's big on, like, drafting people that's, that has length. So it's interesting to see Magic's, like, draft philosophy. And as I think about it, that's probably why they went Anthony Black. They like drafting length. He was the same guy, like I said, drafted Giannis. That's why he got ball, Like, it's interesting to see his philosophy, see him draft, But like I said, it's a really good draft class. And I don't think it's fair to say that every year, This could have been, the top 5 players, I know I said earlier the top 3, but I think the top 5 players, they could have been drafted number 1 in a weaker draft, Those Thompson twins, they 6'7", they athletic, they bouncy, them boys are, they are perfect molded for the modern day era, I think they could have been number 1 in another draft, So yeah, like I said, really good draft. But I appreciate y'all. We're going to bring in, a little bow tie to the end. This the end of the first episode. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Shout out to, everyone that listen. And make sure you give a like, comment, subscribe. You feel some type of way. Which picks was your favorite pick, let me know in the comment section, Yeah, we signing on up.